Hey everyone, my name is Erin Ross, and this is my Artist Spotlight, where it is my mission to connect you with amazing artists all over Instagram so that you can learn from their experiences and discover the secrets to their success. In episode number 3 of the Artist Spotlight, I will be interviewing Priyanka Chavan, or at The Art of Pri on Instagram. She is a professional concept artist from India. Her career so far has taken her through some amazing studios with notable projects such as Payday 2, Walking Dead, and Skyrim, as well as more stylized projects like Bubble Witch. After all of her experience in the industry so far, she has some amazing insight and tips on how to thrive as a concept artist. Enjoy. How long have you wanted to be an artist or be a concept artist? Has that been something you always wanted to do?
I think those would be like two different questions for me because I always drew as a kid. So I knew I wanted to do something creative. I guess I have this memory of just me always going to the garden, carrying like some papers, pen, and a mat. And then I should just like lay it on the ground and draw like random leaves and flowers. I have like heaps and bundles of papers with just leaves and flowers. It's crazy, yeah. And just like lots of trees. I'm like super into environment. So even right now as a concept artist, I'm really into environments. Mostly my stuff is full of environments. And about being a concept artist, it honestly happened by accident. Like I just kind of took as it came, because I wasn't sure what exactly I wanted to do. And essentially I was like, because I'm Asian, right? Like I'm Indian, and then with Indian parents it's like, okay, either it's a doctor or an engineer, there is no in between.
Yes.
And it's a thing, literally. That's why you have a lot of engineers and doctors. But my dad was always like, you can always have it as a hobby, and then I was like, no, I really want to do this. So he was like, maybe you could try architecture, because it's still a respected profession.
Have a compromise.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe. And then I kind of joined these classes, and I figured like it was still too technical. I wasn't really able to get my own ideas across. It was still too constricting for me in ways. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that's when I started exploring different options. And then I got into this thing called product design, which is like a part of industrial design. So I got into this college and I was doing product design, which I hated. For a month I did that and I'm like, I don't like this. Like, this is not my thing. Luckily for me, the campus that I was in had 3 different colleges, I would say, like one for animation, one for video games, and then the one I was in. And I happened to make friends with a few people from the gaming department. Yeah, I was like, shit, this is something I love to do. Like, I feel like what I did was more, kind of leaning toward that rather than me just drawing some random products all day and not even like really be passionate about it.
Yeah.
Basically, I just shifted a year and I just like shifted. And then 2 years later, I quit that college because they didn't have like a proper concept art thing. Yeah, like honestly, like my parents were all time, they were just like, what on earth are you doing?
Like, looks like it worked out.
I'm glad it did. And now, yeah, they're super happy and all, but yeah.
Good. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I was going to ask you about your experience at that school. So while you were there, did you end up taking concept art or game design classes?
Yeah. So essentially, I was in India itself in Pune, where I was for 3 years with the Game Art College. Supinfocom, it's like the French university, whatever. They had this collaboration thing going on, and then I was there for 3 years. They had some really good teachers. A couple of them I remember. They were so nice and so inspiring. But because they came from animation backgrounds, it was difficult to translate, like what I was actually looking for. I wasn't getting that. I felt like that. So I decided to just quit. By that time, I heard of like FZD, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay at home for a bit, prepare a good portfolio, and apply to FZD. Mm-hmm. And then I got into FZD, and that was another ride. Oh my God. Like FZD was like super intense, right? Like so many people have asked me this. Do you think it's healthy mentally to do that? But I feel like once you're really passionate about something, you don't see it as work, So I feel like FZD was just like that for me. People were working like 18 hours, 19 hours. Some days the entire class is just like sitting at Starbucks. Yeah, we used to just like sit at Starbucks all night, do the assignments, and the next day just go back to the class and submit. It was just a lot of work. But it was so helpful because in 1 year my work improved so much, especially the basics, like of like perspective, which is so essential. That improved dramatically. So, and I think it's more so also because of friends that I made, and like we were all like sharing an apartment, living together, working together. So you have this whole vibe of everyone trying to achieve something. Yeah. And everyone trying to get better. So it really helps, I guess.
Oh yeah. If you really want to get better at something, being immersed in it and then just surrounded by people who are doing it, that's the way.
I know.
After you got out of school, I saw that you got a job at Dhruva Interactive.
Yeah, which is like a Rockstar right now. Like, the guys make GTA and like stuff. So basically, Dhruva is a company which is just exactly as old as I am. So yeah, pretty much. So it's a super old company. Yeah, like it used to be an outsourced company, and they always did these big projects. And I felt like that would be a good start for me because I wanted to still be in my home country at that point. And I feel like an outsourced studio is in general a good place to start because you get to experiment a lot. They have like different types of projects. So especially it was good for a person like me who wasn't really sure what she wanted to do, like what she wanted to, just go for like one specific thing. Yeah. So initially I was doing characters and my events and all sorts, right? Like fantasy, sci-fi, like anything that came, I just, like whichever style too. I think that was a great place to start because I just got to experiment so much. I worked on Payday 2. I worked on some weapon designs for Skyrim. It's like whole different genres, right? And then I worked, King, the company which made Candy Crush.
Yes.
So they have like this game which was like Bubble Witch, and they have like the most active players, right? Like in the world, like on mobile games, they have like highest active players. So Bubble Witch, I made like I think I don't even remember. It was like 50 different backgrounds at least, like for the levels.
Oh,
so and that was an entirely different style because it was like super stylized work, which I hadn't done before, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, maybe I could try, like stylized thing as well. But obviously, my actual passion was still for like semi-realistic or realistic stuff. But I felt nice that I can, there's a possibility, there's a chance that I might like this too. So it was always good to have an option.
Yeah, that's cool that you got to experiment with that.
Yeah.
What were some challenges that you faced during your first job?
Honestly, I was just really scared all the time.
Yeah,
because like when you're like someone new, and especially for me, like I hadn't done any sort of internship. I wasn't even a junior artist. Like they hired me for a concept art position. So I really felt like I need to give all in because like when you have the title of a junior, you're still like allowed to kind of screw up, and
you're like, okay, I'm a little bit safe.
So I just felt like this pressure of like trying to do things really right. But I'm so glad. Like I always feel like I had amazing people I worked with, and they were so helpful whenever I got stuck. And because they were all elder to me at that point, so I was like, oh, she's like this little kid who we need to take care of. Now, after all these years, when I see the same people, they're like, oh my God, you're so grown up. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
Oh, cool.
It's really cute. So like, yeah, like there were always like people to help me. So whenever I got like stuck with something, I could, like always be like, oh, how do you do this? Or how do you approach that?
How did you get that job? Because I noticed you jumped right into a concept art position right out of school.
Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I was just lucky. I don't know. Because it was honestly tough. I would say that because again, I was just super under pressure because FZD was an expensive school to go to, and then I was like, I need to earn back that amount of money, right? Like, I knew that my work was decent enough, like to not be an intern at least, but I didn't know that they could give me the concept art position. So I was like, all right, let's take that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So I had like these couple offers because I kept my art station alive and LinkedIn. These two are the main sources from where I usually get like the most offers or whatever from.
Okay.
And with Dhruva, actually, I heard from a lot of people it's a good company to start in. So I was also, asking, like literally messaging random artists on the internet, like, hey, I'm new and I'm, like trying to start off my career. What studio do you think is the best in India to start off? And I got a couple of suggestions and I wrote an email because at that point, I guess there was no available position. Yeah, I just emailed them. I was like, whenever you have an opening, I'd be interested. And I was surprised that they actually wrote back to me like in a couple of days. I'm usually super demanding about what I want, which is, I don't know if it's a good thing or no. But I was like, okay, so what you're offering me is kind of less for me because I really need to make at least this much right now. So I hope you respect that, and I promise you, I'll live up to your standards.
I would have loved that if I'd gotten that letter working there. I'd have been like, yes, I'm going to hire this woman. That's amazing.
Yeah, honestly, it's funny because like when I joined in, they were all like, the way you spoke, we thought like, who is this? And then I come in and I'm like this little like 21-year-old and they're like, oh my God, okay.
Oh my gosh, that's great. The next position I saw had the title of senior in it. How did that happen?
So it's funny, like I was in Dhruva for about 2 years. Oh, and also one more thing, like when I was at Dhruva, they were also kind of, before Rockstar took them over, they were taken over by Starbreeze, which is like a Swedish studio, like the people who worked on like Walking Dead and stuff. So I also did like a couple environments for those. So I had like kind of a few good titles, maybe, you could say that I worked on. I obviously couldn't share that work because everything was pretty much NDA. Honestly, like I'm so tired of NDAs now because I can't share like more than half the work that I've done. That was kind of helpful, like that played a role, especially in also saying that I worked on so many different styles, like which is like a variety. So I think Game Loft was super happy with that because they have cartoony games, but also AAA games where, like it's a whole thing. So I guess, so they offered me essentially this position of being a supervisor and an artist. I was like, I don't think I can do that. Like, I was just being honest. I was like, I mean, obviously I didn't say it this way. I was just like, I'm really, like honored and glad that you think this way, but maybe just a bit too much for me right now to take on. What if you guys just hire me as an artist? And maybe if, the seniors start kind of training me into that, then if I'm able to grasp that, then I can try that position out later when I'm working with you. So I started off as a senior artist there, and and it was great because I was working along with so many talented people as well, like amazing people. Honestly, Game Loft, like if I can just say, it's the most amazing studio I've worked in. Like, I love the place. It's like a family, like they literally treat you like a family. Like once you're, like I miss it, honestly, like the best place I've worked. And they're just so considerate about the time that you give and even about your personal life. They want you to have a life apart, like aside than work, Like not once have I ever done any, I don't know, additional hours. Once when my mom was visiting me in Ho Chi Minh, I remember I ran into my creative director and art director at like the restaurant, and they were like, wait, so your mom is here and are you still coming to work? Why? Like just take the rest of the week off, like please. I'm like, okay, thanks. I love that, because for me, I don't like to take a lot of holidays because I love to travel a lot. So I like to save them for when I travel.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh no. Then they were just like, no, just take it. No deduction, nothing, just take it.
Who are your favorite artists to work with at Game Loft?
So the art director was Leandro. He's an amazing person. I'm still in touch with him. Like he's really a great guy to work with. He's very friendly. And even a couple other artists, Hong Long, we've always been great. Brandon, amazing people. Even, like usually in other studios, I've seen artists just hang by themselves. And then usually it's like departments, But Game Loft wasn't like that. Everyone knows everyone. It's amazing. I guess like that was just the studio culture, you know? Yeah. So I had a couple like design, like friends who were into game design and stuff as well. Felix was the UI designer. He's a great friend and an amazing artist. And Fred is an amazing designer as well. So all these guys, I really respect them and I miss
Shout
them.
out.
So yeah, guys, I miss you if you're watching this.
How long did you work at Game Loft?
Wow, that was like 3 years.
Oh, okay. Is that the longest?
That's the long. To be honest, it's the longest that I've even lived in one city. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay.
So even Ho Chi Minh in itself, it's very special to me just because I really enjoyed living there. It was so much fun.
So you worked at Sparx, the next job you had?
Yeah. So Sparx is like the Virtuos studio. So it's like Virtuos is the mother company actually. So they have like I think studios across the globe, and then they also like share projects and collaborate on projects. So another thing that happened when I was in Game Loft. Okay, so it's like I'm trying to explain the transition that happened.
Yes, please.
In 2020, there were a couple of classes I wanted to take, art classes, because artists always feel like we're not good enough. We want to learn more,
Keep it
and
fancy.
grow and whatnot. Yeah.
Yes.
I talked to my art director, Leandro, saying, okay, so I want to quit because I want to take some time to just grow my own skills. And maybe like one day I'll come back, who knows? But for now, I need this. But then he was like, okay, what if instead of quitting, you just take a break and you go do your thing and then come back, and then they also offered to pay for half the classes. So I was like, okay, that sounds like a good deal now,
Okay. Come back to my job and you guys pay for half of my class.
Yeah, and then they also were ready to give me a raise, which is amazing.
What?
I was like, yeah, it wasn't an offer that I could say no to, so I was like, sure. Plus I loved the place, so
Yeah.
I would go to Poland, and the thing is, COVID's there, right? So the day I reach, the next day, everything is under lockdown, like all of Europe. And I'm in Gdansk, and I'm just there, like, and it's not like Warsaw or Krakow, right, where there's more expats. But I must say, Gdansk is still the most beautiful city in Poland. Like, I really feel like. So, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely worth the trip.
Ooh,
so
duly noted.
So I was there, and then I'm like, why is everything shut? And because it's from Vietnam to Poland, which is hours of journey, I was jet lagged as shit. So the entire day I was sleeping, and then I wake up, I need food, and I go out and everything is shut. So I'm like, oh my God, maybe it's the COVID stuff. And then I Google, and then I'm trying to translate everything that's written in Polish.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, okay, so there's lockdown. Brilliant. And all the flights to go back are canceled. And my classes, they said that they were postponed. And then they postponed them yet for like for another week or so. And then they just canceled it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So basically I was just stuck there. I mean, I've always loved traveling, and I've traveled solo enough to just be like, okay, this is how the situation is, and I'm just going to make the best of it. I just basically started living there, and then I was there for 8 months. I obviously told Game Loft that, now I don't need that money because the course is just it's canceled. And then they were like, okay, so maybe you can just work remote then. We're like, that's cool. We can do that. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I started working remote. And there was this project, which was, I think, one of the most important projects I did there. It was for Kinder Joy, like Ferrero, company. So Kinder Joy is their product, right? So right now it's live across the globe. So, when you get the Kinder Joy egg, there's like toys in it.
Yeah.
And then you get like this barcode and stuff. So our idea, so Kinder Joy is a super old product, and Ferrero is an traditional old company, right? So for them, they wanted to make a step digital, like into the digital world, because till date it was only physical, just physical toys and stuff, and they really wanted to kind of get with the times. So we kind of helped them with it, and I was like the lead artist for that project. So right now, then it's basically you just take your phone, you download the app, and you scan it, and the kids can basically have that character that they got into the game in the app, and then they can create their own stories, their own crafted world. And then I think we did it in collaboration with Oxford University, which was really amazing because they helped us a lot with the research and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that was a huge one. So I felt like once that project was coming to an end, then I started realizing again that, okay, I guess I've done enough stylized work. Now I want to experiment with more realistic stuff again, And about 6 months before that, I already had an offer from Sparx, the virtual studio, and I had said no to them at that point because I was happy working at Game Loft.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still was, but I just wanted to experiment something new, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it had been a while, and sometimes if you just stay in one place, you can really get so at ease and just get comfortable. So I didn't want that for myself, I guess.
So you were like, okay, I want something new, switch it up. So you accepted, you reached out to them again.
Yeah. And just when I was thinking this, the HR hits up with an email. They're like, what about now? I'm like, well, I mean, I'm not even in Ho Chi Minh anymore. I'm in Poland. And then they were like, we will fly you in. And I'm like, well, okay, cool. And I think I was mostly sold because of the project that they described to me that I was supposed to work on. It was from this studio in the UK called Supermassive Games. And one of their games, Until Dawn, me and my friends, we played it together and we have the best memories of it. So to work on one of their upcoming games, which I could potentially play with my friends, I mean, it was just too tempting to say no to. So I was like, yes, I'll do it. And then I spoke to my art director, obviously, and I was like, I'm so sorry, but like, I have to do this. And he's so nice. Obviously, they were shocked, but I guess he just understood what I was saying as an artist and where I was coming from as an artist.
Yeah.
And I guess I feel like the whole lockdown situation also played a very important role because it was a routine thing for me, right? And I was staying alone at that point because there's no people out there. Like everyone.
Yeah, you're in Poland.
And plus, I'm
in Poland.
No.
Yeah, so you're alone too.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, at least if things were open, I'm a pretty social person that I could, just like go maybe meet some other artists and whatever. Yeah. But I couldn't do that. But I think after 2 months, things started opening up. And then now I have a lot of friends in Poland. So now when I go back ever, then I have friends to go to. So that's nice. So I think, yeah, out of the 8 months, the later 6 months were amazing because it was also summer. So it's amazing. But yeah, I think. And then, then I came back to Ho Chi Minh, started working for Sparx. It was fun. But also I was a lead artist there. Again, it was the same thing. I essentially just applied for a senior artist position, but they thought I could take it because I did it for Game Loft as well. So I was like, I'll need a lot of help because this is an entirely different project, than what I'm like used to.
Yeah.
So so obviously there, everyone was just as talented and everyone was so hardworking. But I just felt like maybe I preferred the studio culture at Game Loft a little bit more. Maybe it was more to my taste. Obviously, like everyone's tastes are different, but like,
totally.
Yeah. And I was working like a lot. And at one point, I was just saturated like that. Even after work, I felt like I was dead on my energy to go back home and do some personal work. Like I just didn't have any energy. I felt like super exhausted. But the project itself and the work that I did, it was amazing. Like, honestly, I'm proud of that work because it really pushed my levels. Obviously, I still haven't shared the work because the game hasn't released yet. They are saying it'll release like next year. So maybe then I can, like share my work that I did for that.
How many hours a day do you draw or paint?
Today it was just 2 hours. Yay.
Ooh, okay, nice.
Yeah, no, because like right now, after I quit Sparx, I had a little break and then I did classes that I wanted to, and I'm doing some freelance work and I'm just waiting because a couple of my really close friends are getting married and I don't want to miss that, So just going to wait for that. And then I will start to look for whatever offers I've got or if not, I'll start applying.
Yeah.
But right now I'm just taking it pretty chill. But before that, it was hardcore. 6 to 8 hours minimum. Ooh. And then after that, after work, I used to come back, and if I have the energy, I feel like drawing, then it's 3-4 hours more. So easy, like 12, 13 hours. But I'm also a person who likes to take it, like I'm pretty moody, So if I really don't feel like painting, I'm not going to force myself.
So I know you talked about, working in
Mhm.
different places as a concept artist and how
Yeah.
versatility is a good thing. But what would you say is like your style or your favorite style if you are versatile by nature?
I'm so glad for this question because for all these years, to be honest, I never knew what my style was, right? Because you're just like doing a lot of stuff. You're trying to find that one voice that's yours.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel right now for me, there's like these certain shapes that I use, especially when you see some hearts and stuff that I make, some environments. There's these like a little roundy shapes that I use that is very prominent in my style. It's like a little
Yeah.
like semi-realistic, but it's still realistic. I think it's mostly just the way that I do certain things and the way I paint. So all these years I was kind of like lost because I was
Mhm.
like, I don't know what's my thing. And then I feel like people started noticing it and they were like, oh, like this shape language is interesting. And I'm like, wait, I have that in pretty much everything that I've done lately. So maybe that's my
That's a
thing.
pattern. Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think following on social media platforms has a correlation to the amount of jobs that you're going to be able to get? Or do you think those things aren't really related?
I mean, yes and no. Like, to be honest, I just have 3,000 followers. It's not that much. Like, I know people who've got like 50,000 and stuff. But like, it's weird because how Instagram works is very different. Like, you have to be very particular about the time you're posting and stuff. And I don't do that.
You're like, I just
So,
post when I have stuff to
yeah,
post.
exactly. I have enough work, but I just haven't put stuff on. Like, yeah. And the whole time that I was working at work shows, I practically put nothing up, literally, because I was just so busy with my work. I
Yeah.
just completely ignored the social media aspect, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely a whole job itself.
Yeah, yeah, because from what I know, people who are really active mostly on social media and depend on social media for their jobs are mostly either remote working artists or they're freelancing or taking commission jobs. When you're doing that, it's really nice to have like a good following, I guess, so as to convince your client that yeah, I guess my work is good because I have a strong base, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I guess for people who already are in the scene, the concept art world, and have
right.
gotten some jobs, it's probably easier for them
Yeah,
to, because they have networks in place already.
true. And especially these days, just to be honest, I feel Instagram is not a great platform for artists and they should work on it. Because they're like promoting these reels now, right? Like the
Yes.
videos and stuff, which really does not help artists unless they're making process videos, which is again you asking artists to take out more time to edit the whole process
Yeah,
and
which is
stuff, which
a
is
whole separate
yeah,
thing.
especially if they want artists to be active on their platform, they should really consider it because it's very difficult to get eyes on, especially if you joined like Instagram late. It's very tough to make it as just an artist.
What do you usually do when you're drawing or painting, like on your own time? Do you like put TV on in the background or listen to music or audiobooks or?
So I have like these art podcasts that I listen to, like art department podcasts. And one of my friends, Siddharth, he has the Convergence podcast where he's got some like really good artists getting in over there. And
Nice.
uh, and then now I have yours. That's amazing. So yeah, I feel like obviously I'm a person and I'm not gonna be motivated every single day, right? But sometimes if it's 2 to 3 days when I'm feeling like I don't have enough motivation, I'm like, okay, then I'll listen to something that's inspiring and I'll make sure I get my ass to work.
Mm.
Because sometimes you just have to be disciplined enough to make sure you don't just get lazy.
Yeah, yeah. There's always
I
things that you
guess.
can do to like inspire yourself to get you in the
Yeah.
mood.
So I think like podcasts are really like amazing for that.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Then
yeah.
obviously there's music, and I have this thing where sometimes I have like Netflix playing in the background, and I know most people say that it's distracting for them, but for me it works, especially when it's the show that I've already watched. So it's kind of like it's running in the background, and at the same time I'm kind of somewhere in my head I'm visualizing what's happening. because I've already seen it. And then I'm trying to make something. So it helps me sometimes with what I'm working as well. Like if it links, then it's amazing.
Who are some of your favorite master artists that you look up to?
Ooh, lots. Okay. I feel like, so because I'm more into environments, I'm just gonna, name those. Richard Schmidt for sure. Edgar Payne. I think 2018 was when I was just like doing each and every day I was doing studies of his. So I guess at one point when I scrolled down my Instagram, it's just studies of his paintings. I love that guy, like honestly. And there's like Theo Prince, Ron Gia, Craig Millins. Oh my God, he's like the god. And Franklin Booth, he's like a really old artist, but he mostly works in like black and white, I think. But his compositions are spot on. Like everything is there for a reason.
So if you could give any advice to younger artists or less experienced artists who are wanting to get into concept art, what advice could you offer?
Okay, this might sound a little bit harsh, but I feel like 3D is, just coming in so much now. Like especially in concept art, it's just like taken away. And I'm not great at 3D, but I do use it. Like especially since my last studio, I really took it in practice, and it's a huge part of my workflow. But I'm still learning a lot. I'm still getting better at it. Like every day, I practice a little bit 3D these days. It can really help you have a very efficient workflow. But what I also see is when the experienced artists are using 3D, the artists who are beginning, they're like, oh, that's it. So 3D is the way. So they basically skip all the fundamentals, perspective, color theory, light, shadows. It's all down the drain, and they jump straight into 3D. So that is like a huge drawback because you don't have the knowledge of what camera angles to pick, what sort of lighting to pick. There's some theory that goes behind picking up a certain lighting, a certain camera angle. And definitely. 3D doesn't do everything for you as a concept artist. At the end of the day, you still need to design and paint over it. So what happens is because they don't have the design skills, even if the outcome looks great, but it's not great to be used in a game. So people aren't going to hire you because, sometimes it's like basically it looks like it's a pretty picture, but design wise, so, like I said, design is solving problems. Yes. So if it's just a picture and if it's not solving problems, because for concept art, it's not just about creating one painting. It's like, okay, if this is the certain kind of architecture, then what kind of architecture it is? What is the era? If it's a pillar, how many turns does it have? And because this is all going to be made in 3D later on, because the concept art is like the pre-production phase. Yeah. So when it's going to go to production later, where, all the other teams and departments get involved, you don't want to make it difficult for them because if they don't understand your sketches or your drawing, they're going to get back and they're going to be like, what is this? How do I make this? So because in painting, like you can just smudge something and, oh, it looks so pretty, but how are they going to model it? What do you think you're going to be looking for in future jobs when you get back out there? I mean, my priorities have changed over the years, Normally it just used to be like, oh, I want to work for this studio, this kind of work. And it's not that anymore. Right now, especially after experiencing a couple of different studios and also working freelance with clients, I guess have some standards as to what I can filter out. The first thing is definitely the studio culture because it plays such a huge role in how you feel at the job and out of it. Because being an artist is great, but when we're also designing as a concept artist, it requires a lot of mental energy. Yeah. Because you're not just painting anymore, you're actually design thinking and solving problems. Yeah. So this takes a lot of toll mentally. So I feel like if the studio culture is good and chill, you really enjoy it, especially when your peers are great too. So I guess, that is definitely going to be something that I'm going to look for, like how the studio treats its people. And I think after Game Loft, I really have a good, thing to compare to. I feel like set the bar. Great. Yep. What are your goals for the future? Ooh. Okay. Like, I just want to have a good balance of work and life. Now that I have, kind of experienced both the sides of freelancing and working in a studio, I feel like just because of the way I am as a person, I do prefer a studio environment because I love working with people, because, you also get to socialize, you get to learn so much more because someone else is approaching it a certain way. So yeah, definitely want to work in a place where they have good respect for their employees, and yeah, they just have like good studio culture and atmosphere, and at the same time amazing projects where I can learn and grow from.
Yeah.
So also, just this period that I took as a break, I really felt like being a lead artist or a senior artist, it's a lot of pressure, like mentally it's a lot. So I really feel like maybe now when I'll apply like just as a concept artist or just a senior artist. I still want to just keep on painting and drawing without a lot of pressure. Yeah, because like as a lead artist, you're responsible for so much. I had to literally check work of other artists as well in the same time frame as the submission. Then I still need to complete my work because I said I still want to be an artist. I don't want to leave that. So I'm doing that. Then I'm also doing like the whole documentation for art direction, like whatever my art director says, then I'm just trying to frame it and like trying to put it together so that other artists can follow it. Like it's like a guideline almost for a project. So it's a lot of work and I hate documentation. So yeah. So that's pretty much me right now. So I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I just want to have that mental peace where I don't want to stress a lot and where I still get to draw a lot. So I'm just going to be an artist. Like, yeah, I don't want to be a lead artist and stuff anymore. At least not right now. Maybe a couple years later, we'll see.
Awesome. It was so fun having you on.
Oh, thank you so much. And also thanks to Jeremy, like for introducing us, right?
Yes. I was so excited when he suggested you. I was like, oh, she has amazing work. Thank you so much.
Yeah, he just like looked at me one day and I was like, oh my God, sure. I love that.
I hope you all enjoyed and learned something. Again, that was Priyanka Chavan, or at The Art of Pri on Instagram. If you enjoyed her work, go ahead and follow her. Her account is linked below. And if you enjoyed the episode, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like, hit subscribe, and comment the name of an artist you would like to see me interview in a future episode. If you'd like to be notified when the next episode goes live, go ahead and hit the notification bell or follow me on Instagram at Erin Christine Ross. Thank you for watching.